59 at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans. Another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific for about an hour or 90 minutes each day. We do 3 gun-related topics, different topics throughout the week, and we run it live on YouTube. And I guess we have a pretty good or pretty low lag time today. It started up right in the middle of the thing there. We run it live on YouTube. We simulcast it over at gunchannels.com, where we're watching the comments that are coming in from the people watching us live. We do appreciate everybody that watches us live. We take the audio every once in a while and post it as a
podcast.
Sorry, I got an interesting text here. We take the audio, we post it as a podcast, so we appreciate everybody that gives us comments out there on the various platforms to let us know where you're at. I don't remember where I'm at. I got distracted by that text and my dog walking around. So I guess we're going to say we got 4 hosts. Only 2 of us showed up today because we're the dedicated ones. We got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Hey, glad to be here.
And I'm down here in Arizona. I don't know where Dano's on the move doing his thing, and Snuggy is also on the move doing his job. So we are starting episode 355. It's a Friday. We'll be talking about gun tech, the gun biz, and their alternative gun topic of the week, and then all the stuff we do on a normal daily basis. But before we dig into that, we always stop at the beginning, see if anything happened overnight that's worth talking about. I guess I'll start out and say thanks for hosting the show yesterday, guys, because I don't think Dano even noticed that I was in there, but I was literally underneath the van changing out that starter as you guys were live.
Yeah, we caught some of that. Yeah, that wasn't a problem.
Anyway, anything else happen overnight?
Not that I saw, but I wasn't really paying attention as usual.
I think Yankee City had a short chat last night.
Yeah, I think I saw him up. I think he had that on.
Oh, okay. So, and then I guess Thursday, so Tac Daddy would have been doing the Gun News Weekly, I guess. And I think that's about it. So, all right, well, I guess we can dig into the show. So we've got gun tech first, and since we didn't have a topic in there, Bob and I were talking before the show, and we figured we'll talk about guns that you drag around in a car. So I'm seriously thinking lever action, 30-30.
Oh, I don't know, man. Too easy to get crap in it.
What do you mean crap in it?
Well, just crap in it, you know. It's gonna be banging around in the trunk or whatever. I'm all for like SKS or SVT-40, some cheap Russian semi-automatic you can just throw in the trunk and not think about and pull it out 6 months later and shake the dust and dirt off it and it'll just go.
I think lever action can do that, but I don't just throw them in the back of my trunk. I mean, just for the sake of keeping the tool good and to keep it tidy or whatever, I'll put it in a sleeve or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I guess.
You put it up on the top, like behind the back seat, and then, in one of those padded sleeves or something, and then I think pretty much any gun can drive around like that. It's not necessarily fast access, but then it's also not in your way every time you open the trunk to get something. There's not an SKS laying there.
That's true, but on the other hand, it's, I'd hate to have anything in there that's got any value to it. That's why I say like an SKS or some other cheap Russian gun. And
how much SKS is by you? We can still get lever actions for $3.500, $400.
Here is really hard to get any kind of decent lever action. 30-30s are pretty common, but people just tend to keep them as family heirlooms and stuff. They're just those guns that never come up for sale here.
Oh, come on. They're all over the place. You saw them often they were down here.
Oh, yeah.
So we're getting answers or suggestions like Galaxy 3. I guess that's an option. HVS, that's what he carries in the car. Then we got Dog Buddy saying a bolt action 308. I don't know. I think I want more bolt action though. And I don't need long range. What am I going to be? Well, for me personally, what am I going to be doing long range in the vehicle? I'm thinking defense or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I guess it depends on what you're doing. Obviously, if you're going hunting or something specific, or going to a place where you can go like squirrel hunt or something, then having a shotgun, I guess, would be handy.
Yeah. Well, there's something to be said for shotguns, yeah, for just the long range.
So CloverTech is saying an itty bitty youth 22. I got a whole slew of those. I got a whole bunch of them. I never thought about it, but bringing one of them along, that would be more of a fun thing. And I think I'd, even though they don't cost much, mine are hard to get. At least a couple of them are hard to get because they're fairly rare. And I just wouldn't want to lose them or break them, really, because they are just almost like BB guns, really, as far as their quality. So I could see, though, having like the 22 Magnum. You shoot that orange 22 Magnum I got?
No, I didn't.
I bought this orange. I think it's, I don't know if it's cricket or not. Anyway, it's one of them youth 22s, but it's a 22 Magnum with stainless steel. All the metal is stainless steel, and the stock is orange.
Oh,
so
really?
I just think it looks cool, but I figure, quote unquote, that's my boat gun.
Yeah.
Boat or whatever. But they're just super fun to shoot. You bring them in a box of 22s, and you can just shoot at stuff while you're camping or whatever. But I wouldn't want to just leave a gun in the car, just something like that for the long trip, just because I don't plan on recreationally shooting that much. If I was going out camping, I think I would definitely bring it in, especially if I was going out camping with a kid. That'd be a great way to, box of ammo each afternoon. That's a great way to spend a week at camp.
Spur some interest in shooting as well as just to help them build up his skills.
Yeah.
Nothing better than little 22 single shot with open sights for that. I never really thought of that, but I've got a couple like those we can get real cheap. Well, they're $50. Well, 22 single shots because they were really, really common here. Every kid had one for going out and plinking gophers. And one of those would actually be not bad because your ammo is nice and light. You could throw it in a little gun case with a couple of boxes of ammo and throw that in the trunk and forget about it, really. And then you've always got something you can at least take some small game with.
So CloverTech's also saying lever actions are pretty popular in this area, Texas. Don't see the used ones much either. See, that's weird. We see a lot of used ones. It kind of is a time of the year thing. When it's right after hunting season, all the hunting guns are on the shelves. Dog Buddy saying cops are less likely to see him as an active shooter. Like, what did he say? Oh, bolt action? Yeah, but now you're a sniper. You're an active sniper.
Yeah.
HVS boasting about his Hawaiian carry laws. Then one of the local gun shops has at least 5 or 6 used 30-30s on the wall. That's Mr. Wright. I think that's Texas. Right? No, Wright is Texas, I thought. All between 3 and 4. That's what I'm talking about. When you get some of the crappier lever actions that are just sort of dime a dozen, new, kind of not old, no character, nothing, just hunting guns, just tools. They're not that expensive, and they get moved around a lot.
That's true.
And I don't know about the weird calibers. I'd get 30-30 probably, but
well, I mean, if I could get one, I'd get the 357 38 special because that gives you that little more versatility.
No, it sounds good on paper. I owned one though. In fact, I've owned 2 of them technically. I owned my own for a while, and then my one friend moved, and he left all his guns with me while he moved, and so for a long time I had the kind that's got the big loop on it, the bigger loop on it, which I hated. I thought I hated it, and once I used his, I knew I hated it. It's just obnoxious. It doesn't give you nothing, and it's huge, so it just makes it annoying. So anyway, I had the 357 one, because I was carrying a 357 revolver for hunting, and the 357 doesn't perform that good. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I'd rather have a 30-30, have a real rifle. I'm shooting the rifle on a rifle.
Yeah,
so,
a 30-30 is a good round.
I'm thinking camping in the middle of nowhere, weird place, and some Yahoo comes up and tries screwing around, or more likely bear out in the middle of nowhere. bear comes up, wants to eat me or my dog or something, you know, I'm not gonna poke the bear. I want to just drop it. And yeah, if it is some kind of Yahoo's starting shit, then I don't want to have to reload a 357 ever. Lever action 357 reloading isn't easy with that rim and everything. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of short. So over on the YouTube side, where'd it go?
Now we got Steadily is saying good old full AK.
And that's the thing. If I'm going to states that I know are cool, then yeah, why not? Because it fits in the tennis racket bag with, I have that SOE chest rig that has, what, 4 mags of 7.62 by 39, and then the blowout kit, so all the medical kit you'd need. It's got a Leatherman on there, I think, a light, and, well, I stick a bayonet on there, although that's not necessary, and then the AK folded, and that gives you 5 magazines. And then you could always throw a couple extra boxes of ammo in there. I usually do that in case I want to go shoot recreationally with it. And then that's just a tennis racket bag. You could have that slung over the back of the driver's seat, and nobody's going to pay it a second glance.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, if you're traveling, you never know what states you're going to run into. It might be better to be safe rather than sorry and have that gun that's accepted everywhere. You know, the basic lever action. Or
now here's the thing about a lever action. It's like 8 feet long or whatever. You know, even a carbine is not as short as an AK folded. So with an AK folded, and like I say, in that tennis racket bag I use with the chest rig and everything, it just looks like a heavy tennis racket. I guess if somebody was scrutinizing what I'm doing, it would be like, wow, that tennis racket bag seems heavy. But it's not. I mean, it's just an AK. So is it 7 or 8 pounds plus some ammo? So it's, you know, a little bit of a tennis racket. But you know, I sling that over my shoulder and walk through the lobby of any hotel. Nobody cares at all. Like, don't even second glance. Where if it was a rifle case, somebody might go, you know, is it worth breaking into that car? Is it worth breaking into this guy's room? You know, oh, I noticed that guy went to go get pizza or something. What's in his room? Did he take that rifle with him? I didn't remember that. So that's the stuff that that's, I kind of like the idea of those small rooms too, because they're barely 26s. All 26 was to be legal.
Yeah.
So which is about as much as a AK folding. I guess all the AR folding business now.
That's true. You can actually fold an AR now, kind of.
But yeah, I would agree. It's probably usually what I bring. And sometimes I brought an AK pistol, but I like the underfolder for that. It folds away pretty good. Or side fold.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Going to some states and you got to worry about mag capacity. And then, well, I guess that's about it. And then you bring them around too much value, and it's just bringing along a lot of value that you got to keep track of.
That's true. Now, what about a good old pump action, you know, Mossberg or Remington 870? Well,
I wouldn't consider it personally.
No?
Hell no. A shotgun, you got to put out a pattern of shot every single one of those you're responsible for in court, and you're going to start shooting that willy-nilly just out in the world. No. Definitely through my vehicle. If I'm going to have to repel borders, I want one hole that I can go in and patch, not, you know, a big section of my vehicle that got all deformed and perforated. And, you know, how the hell do you fix that? You got to replace a door or side panel or something then.
It'd be the least of my worries if I had to actually shoot through my door.
Well, again, bear or something, I'm going to have security cameras. You got windows. So, you know, look out there and there's a rabid bear about to hump Charlie. And you're going to be like, I want to shoot through this door of my vehicle. So, sorry, Charlie.
And then I'm going to use slugs. That's why I got slugs and buckshot both on my ammo belt.
And he reloads.
Yeah. Oh, you only load it when you need it. That's the rule.
Well, I don't care about romanticizing a lever action. I just think it's state safe. You know, individual weird state law safe. You got a lever action, maybe they'll think, oh, that crazy Yahoo from Arizona with a lever action, what's he need that for? But they're not scared of it. If I got the AK folded with 100-something rounds, then it's like, you know, I'll grabs with it.
What is he up to? Yeah. Whereas it's just some Yahoo from Arizona Of course, he's got a lever action rifle. They're all cowboys there, right?
Yeah. But on the other hand, when you're out doing your thing, and then it's just me. So I guess, if I was out with my family and stuff, I think that would be a different thing, right? And if you're out, I don't know, going to be completely remote, like you're traveling to somewhere to be completely remote. I've seen a lot of weird stuff happen on trailheads up in the middle of nowhere. So you drive, from a little town that's far away from any big town, you drive far up into the mountains, and then there's a trailhead, and then you hike for days off into the wilderness. And bad guys know that people that hike for days off into the wilderness have good cars, and they have good gear, and they're tired when they get back, and they prey on that. So I don't necessarily want to be up at a trailhead enjoying myself and have some son of a bitch who thinks he can prey on a bunch of hippies, thinking he can have anything I got.
That's a good point.
9mm insert for 12 gauge. Yeah, but then those inserts, they work individually. So for like making utilization of the 12 gauge, I agree. And actually, I could see a 12 gauge, like that stupid little 12 gauge I have that everybody hates, my little sawed off one that me and Haas cut off at the Magpul class one time.
Yeah.
That thing is tiny, and you can just leave that in a vehicle. It literally costs $50, right? I think it cost me $89 or something. Yeah. Leave that in the vehicle, and then have that sack of inserts. Now, that sack of inserts isn't inexpensive. They charge you something for each of those, but I guess you could... Oh, way more than the gun. Each insert costs almost as much as the gun, right? I forget what they cost, but they're not cheap. However, there's lots of people making those inserts now. So if you're creating content for a channel or something, consider contacting some of them and ask them if they're interested in collaborating with you, so that you can, show their product off and get some experience with it. And then you are talking about a chunk of metal, so it's worth your time if you are creating content out there. But anyhow, I could see having a sack of those things, because then pretty much any ammo you run up to, you're going to have a pretty good odds of being able to shoot it with enough. With about 5 of those inserts, you can shoot quite a bit of stuff. That 45 insert, highly recommend it. Lets you shoot 45 Colt and 410. And that's handy.
Mm-hmm. And then if you really, if you've already got like a little double barrel like my cowboy shotgun, those are perfect. Because then you got 2 rounds.
I guess. We'll have to take those things out sometime. Now that I got the van, when you come down here, it's going to be a whole different thing, right? Because now we can go up in the hills, stay cool, and just play around. So we can, we brought out the 12 gauge with those inserts. And, I mean, you can peg like clumps of clay and rocks and stuff. But if you're trying to shoot like the flower heads off of flowers in the field, you can't do that. With the little kids' rifles, you can knock flowers off the tops of flowers.
Oh, yeah. They've got sights.
They got sights out there, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know how hard it'd be to put a rail on that double barrel.
Easy, put right down the middle, right?
Yeah. I'll maybe try that.
Oh, yeah. Henry doing the Henry videos. I think it was because of Henry. Wasn't it their some anniversary where they did that 1,000-man shoot or whatever, or 1,000 rifle world record? I think it was like their 100th or 50th, or it must be a lot longer than that, but some kind of anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember. I don't like new ones. New ones kind of look ugly. I like new cars. There's no
yeah, well, I don't like those Henrys because of the way they load. Like I like a loading gate.
What?
I like loading gates. I don't like the food loading.
Well, for practicality, yeah.
Yeah, and then you can keep them topped up, eh? So if you do get in any kind of situation that is involving a firefight, if you got a loading gate, you can just keep stuffing rounds in, fire a couple, stuff a couple in.
So Robbie's saying 45 Colt is the most underrated caliber in a lever gun. So I'd consider looking at that. I understand that there's a lot of potential in 45 Colt because it's old-fashioned round, and now that the modern stuff, they could tweak it.
Yeah, and you got a lot of room for powder.
45-7, now you're talking about a big action. That's bigger than a 30-30 action, isn't it?
I don't think so.
I guess I don't know. I only spent like weeks pondering over those damn cards. No. But I didn't spend that much time looking at the actual pictures.
I don't think the 45 Colt round is that long.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's very short. But the 30-30 is longer. I'm sure the Colt could be in a shorter frame or shorter action. But anyway, we're pretty far into the show, and we just threw this subject in here, so I'm going to suggest we keep going. If
Okay.
it's a subject people like, we can talk about it again. Both of us are going to be on the road. Dano is on the road. Smeggy's on the road. I don't think they bring guns with them for some reason. Dano probably bought guns, actually. But we didn't even get into like handguns. I guess we went straight to rifles. So we could talk about this again in the future. If you want to hear us talk about like something like this, let us know in some feedback. Send us an email, dailygunshow@gmail.com. We appreciate it. So we'll keep moving along and going into the gun biz. This is where we solve the economy through the Second Amendment industry. You're welcome. So we're about to do that. But before we do, we're going to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. So Gun Channels is a place we built a while back. It's a community. It's focused on firearms, and it's completely driven by its membership. It's a lot of fun. We encourage you to check it out because it's completely a membership-driven thing. We're featuring a member every day during the show. Today it's Flippy. Everybody loves to hate him. He's the panda over there who's always cynical. And I don't think he's in here right now, but he actually just sent me over the stickers. He's in real life, they print things and wrap vehicles and do advertising work like that. So he does the stickers for us and helps out a lot. So he just sent over the revolver pictures for the Old West Gun playing cards perks, and they look really good. They're actually identical to the patches. I guess I have a picture over here. I could show the picture. But anyway, Flippy. Bob knows Flippy.
Yeah, he's
Did you go over and meet Flippy when you were in Texas?
No, I never did. I hardly met anybody in Texas. It's too damn hot there.
It's too hot to meet people. That's Bob's philosophy.
Oh, frick, man, it was terrible. Now, remember, I don't have air conditioning in my truck. Yeah, it was no fun. But no, I didn't. That's too bad. I did kind of want to meet him just to see if he really does dress up in that panda costume all the time. So I guess he wouldn't be a cross-dresser. He'd be a cross-species dresser.
I don't think it's a panda costume. It's like a tight t-shirt, like 2 sizes too small, but then just a little panda in the center. Like what a teenage girl from Japan would wear. Except it's
that why he's always got the bows in his hair too?
I don't know about all that, but that's what I'm envisioning. A really tight shirt from Japan. All right. So anyway, there's the stickers that are made in Texas, made in USA. Like I say, they are literally almost identical to the patches that you see there. Those are the Velcro patches. We want to thank everybody on Patreon. These will be going out to you guys, or you guys and gals. It's a first look. Nobody else has these yet because, of course, we got to wait for the cards to get printed. But we will send these out to our Patreon people. So thanks for helping keeping all this stuff going.
Oh, no kidding, huh? Those look good.
Yeah, I think they do. So, uh-oh, what did I close? Everything? No. All right, gotta figure out where all my windows went. So then we'll be going into the gun biz. And today we are talking about companies that just restamp other guns with their name. Springfield guys that use Turkish manufactured guns.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, actually.
What? What does?
That they restamp their name on someone else. It's like when Ford and Chevy and GM were getting their small economy trucks from Japan and putting their name on it and then going, oh no, it's a Ford. Well, why's it got Mitsubishi motor? You know, stupid. False advertising. If you're gonna have your name on it, you should damn well have built it.
I don't know. So I guess it happens all over the place, so I'm not too worried about it unless they're trying to act like something they need. So specifically, Springfield obviously want that name to use because they want to, you know, enforce the allure or something, the concept that they have something to do with the original Springfield. I think that's a little creepy. It's legal, but it's ethical, I guess, because they aren't exactly copying it, but it's close enough that I think it's kind of slimy.
Yeah, And it does, and it's like I say, to me, it just strikes me as false advertising. If you're putting your name on it and you didn't build it, I don't know. I guess it's what they do nowadays. Like, lots of different companies do that. Lots of places do that. I just, don't think it's ethical, but that's what they're doing. So, I mean, I guess it's good for those companies overseas that make those cheap knockoff type guns. But I guess there's some quality ones like that are somebody else just picks up because, well, like, we can get it made here, it's inexpensive, and the quality's good.
Well, I mean, companies that just restamp other guns with their name, where do you draw the line? I mean, in the industry, not everybody makes everything. Somebody that forges doesn't make springs. Somebody that makes springs doesn't make grip panels. Somebody who makes grip panels isn't going to be forging or making grip screws, right? So everybody's buying some of the components. Now, they may have started off as a manufacturer, but again, very few are creating their own springs and screws and lubes and barrels, right? I mean, there's things that you buy off the shelf and you modify and then you incorporate to your system or something, and then you sell it as a product. So that's where I guess as a capitalist, I'm not going to get too worried about it, because there's just, like I say, there's a lot of that in everything. I mean, there's nothing, Sony isn't making every component of that thing that you bought that says Sony on it, right? Our phones aren't made by Nokia. Nokia is just a company that organizes a bunch of parts to get accumulated into a thing that we buy.
True.
So the industry isn't unique or nothing. Now, well, like I said, I'm just reiterating what I said before. If they screw around and they're putting inferior shit out there and using their name or something, then that's a little different, I guess. That's poor capital.
Yeah. I'll just say it. So, but were we doing this as a good idea, bad idea, or what are we just talking about the fact that some companies do that?
Companies that restamp their guns with name. I think we're just bringing light to it. We're basically boycotting it.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I wouldn't want to buy one. I mean, I'll buy something that says, Norenko on it that looks exactly like an M14, because that to me is not. That's not somebody rebranding a Norenko as something else. That's, it's a Norenko, but they just happen to have all the machinery to make M14, so they do.
Yeah, I'm not boycotting. I was just talking shit to get Tony all pissed. So,
yeah, I saw Tony out there.
So I think we've solved it. Companies do restamp other guns with their name. So again, if we're going to go specifically to that, I don't know if there's too many of that things going on out there. There must be some, but the obvious big one is the Springfield is buying that gun. But it probably happens in other cases too, and I just don't pay attention. There's a lot of new guns out there, and sometimes they are just a gun manufacturer who's putting different people's names on it.
Yeah. I mean,
good at that, actually. If you look at U.S. manufacturers, those Ring of Fire guns were, in a way, mainly because they were bought and sold. So they would, something would happen to the company A, and then company B would come along and acquire all the tooling and parts from company A. So company B was literally putting their new name on the guns that were built by the original company. And that happened in a microcosm there quite a bit, but I'm sure that happens in real life. Look at AMT. That company got bought and sold about 8 or 9 times, and different companies came along and kept saying it's an AMT.
That's a good point, but then they are, producing the firearm themselves.
That's true, and they are kind of, even though they're not the original human beings, they are the same brand and tooling, and for the most part, parts. I don't know about experience. I don't know enough about it to know if the human beings that built the stuff went along with them, but I'm guessing since they went out of state, probably not.
Well, some may have, but yeah, the majority wouldn't. But then, I mean, a lot of those guns were pretty bloody simple. So,
Yeah, exactly. Somebody who's a machinist can make a thing. You don't need to be some kind of
a specialist machinist. Yeah.
All right, well, that was that topic. We're right on time. See, we do much better without you guys slowing us down. All right, so this will be our second break as we go into our alternative topics, and we'll take a break and say thanks again to the people watching who support us on Patreon. Going forward, we're going to be on the road, and I just calculated over here that I'm probably going to be about $900 in gas for this first leg of the tour, which is being recalculated all the time. I've realized that during the time I'll be on the road with going to get the cards, the anniversary for Red Dawn is going to happen. And I'd like to be over at the rocks when that happens. So I'm going to try to recalculate it. So San Antonio, Dallas, Tulsa, Dodge City, Colorado Springs, and then south to the Red Dawn Rocks, Albuquerque, and Phoenix. So after the Red Dawn Rocks, I should probably be able to hit that shooting place in New Mexico. There's like a big shooting place that the NRA built in New Mexico that we didn't go look at. And then back to Albuquerque and then Phoenix and Tucson. So that'll change the route from going to Wyoming, Salt Lake City, and Las Vegas to 3,500 miles. And now that I have a van, I have knowledge of what the actual gas mileage will be, or a pretty better, better estimate. So anyhow, all that we wanted to participate on Patreon, and hopefully you enjoy the show. The fact that we're jumping in pretty much every single day, we're live every single weekday, every once in a while on weekends. And our goal, again, is to travel around looking at new gun shops every day to get the word out about them, to just get people energized, ideally to inspire and encourage people to create content of their own, to cover their own gun shops on their own YouTube channel or their own Facebook or their own gun channels account, however it is they like to spread the word about what they do, and along with all the other things that you do. And in this time of plenty, let's say, in this time of apathy as far as gun activism, or gun owners' rights activism, I'm open to, just get out there and make some interesting waves that get people jazzed up. It's not always a defense. The guns aren't always for defense. Sometimes we can just have fun with them. So right now, all the people who profited off of the fear have nothing to make us afraid of. So instead of using that tactic at all, let's just get out there and explore how fun guns are. I'm planning to look at some collections. I know there's lots of private collectors out there that have no interest at all in creating a YouTube channel and sharing their collections. However, if someone could anonymously show up with a camera, have a conversation with them about their collections, and then weeks or months later, a video comes out and talks about an interesting collection that was in the United States, with that anonymity, I hope that we can get some of the interesting collections out there. So I'm hoping to look at those. We'll be looking at museums, all the stuff that we've talked about in the past. So anybody that wants to see something like that happen, it isn't going to happen. It'll happen this first time because I took a loan out and I have the money. So it will happen this first leg. But hopefully it's interesting and we want to see, if you want to see it continue, then I encourage you to check out our Patreon. And hopefully a buck or two from a lot of people will allow us to put a lot of gas in that tank and put, 150,000 miles on this van before we have to get us another one. So that's our break there. And now we'll get into alternative gun topics. Buying guns to collect but never shoot. Or that could be a good idea, bad idea. So I don't think it's a good idea, bad idea so much. So let's talk about it now. Buying guns to collect but never shoot. What do you think?
I think it's silly, personally.
Crying out loud. You've never enjoyed any of the crap I have that's just for collecting?
No, I want to shoot it all.
Oh, please.
I want to just own a gun and just look at it. That's like buying one of those commemorative 45s or a commemorative lever action. I mean, this is just like, no, it's a gun. You got to go out and use it. It's silly to own otherwise.
Whatever. Silly to own. It's silly to suggest you shouldn't own something unless you have a practical purpose for it. That's ridiculous and communistic. That's like saying you don't deserve unless you need. We live in capitalist land where we can possess because we feel like it, and we can enjoy without a need. So I'm all about buying guns to collect but never shoot. I haven't shot half of my guns, easily. I could confidently say I've never shot half of my guns. but I got more guns.
But that's crazy, man. There's no, yeah, I don't get it.
Here's my answer. What? So you're going to limit yourself to have to shoot every gun that you own? That's what people who only own like a dozen guns say.
No, you can shoot every gun you own. You don't have to shoot it every day. But I think owning a gun.
It's not possible to take every gun range if you're buying like you mean it.
Well, I guess I don't really see the point in collecting guns that I'm not going to use.
Well, okay, so you don't like collecting, but you can't see the. Well, you've never sat down with all my 22s, the little revolvers, and look at the progression from the first one that Dick Gasul made, and then the one that he improved with dude from Freedom Arms, and then now they split up, and Freedom Arms went over here and they sold the NAA, and laying them all out and seeing the mechanical differences between them. I don't need to shoot those guns to enjoy all of that. And they're awesome. They're better than the best Matchbox car ever. They're the size of a Matchbox car.
Yeah, I can kind of see that they're like little toys.
Okay, so whatever. No, they're really little machines, and they. Anyway, so there's. What about Pythons? What about the baby Brownings? What about having a collection of 25 ACT grade baby Browning clubs?
Well, if they're antique, I can understand somebody wanting to have them. Myself, no. I mean, for me, the whole idea of like collecting guns just to own them is like odd. It's just it doesn't make sense to me, because they're, I don't know, if you're not going to use them, it's kind of, that's half the fun, is using them, shooting them.
What about my? Well, I do shoot. So what about my broke ass guns? I like to collect guns that don't even freaking work, and they physically can't shoot them because they don't work. And you know what they cost me? Like $0 to nothing, because I don't pay for them. I only collect them.
Well, yeah, and that's fine. That's, you know, that's like, I'll, you know, and if you're going to give me something for free,
you were gonna say just like I collect cars, because you buy a bunch of cars that don't work, and you just have them.
Well, no, well, the point is they're all going to work one day.
I don't delude myself. I buy broke guns just to have them because they're neat and they don't cost me anything.
Well, I mean, like I say, I could see that point. If somebody's just going to say, "Oh, this thing doesn't work," and you go, "Oh, what are you going to do with it?" "Oh, I'm just going to throw it away." Then heck yeah, I'd say, "Oh, well, you know, that's kind of interesting. Sure. If nothing else, I'll just put it up on a display board or something and just have it sitting there as just, you know, this is a cheap gun that broke."
Just in a pile somewhere. So that's the thing, though. You know how they say, like, when a bell rings, an angel gets its wings? I feel like when a gun gets destroyed, that something bad happens somewhere. So I'm trying to save the world from having bad things happen.
That's a good point.
It's like good karma. Not let it go.
When gun gets destroyed, a puppy dies. There you go.
Or at least somebody's old puppy, or like doesn't give a puppy a treat, so the puppy's sad. All right. So Pink is saying on the YouTube side, if Bob got a hold of Browning's first high power that he made, although his son made it, would he take it out and shoot it every day, or would he sleep with it and massage it hourly?
Both.
And then Bob would be the guy who literally is buying the first high power. Bob takes it out, breaks it, shoots it, and blows it up. Bob's that guy.
Yeah, well, you know, I'd still shoot it. I probably wouldn't, you know, shoot it every day and use it as a carry gun. But yeah, I would probably sleep with it and massage it constantly.
I'm okay with making light loads and letting a gun make noise, but not to suggest that it needs to prove something. I want to let an old gun rest.
Throw some nice plus P 9 mils in it and let her go.
Oh, if you're only talking 9mm, that's not going to hurt nothing. Dog Body's saying I got an old black powder gun that I never shoot. Yeah, a whole bunch of my broke ones are just black powders. They're just cool looking. Again, why? I don't know. If people are just leaving them there to neglect, I'm going to put them in my room to neglect.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something like that, sure. If it's not going to cost you a bunch of money, I don't see the point in spending a bunch of money. It's like, I know people who go and, you know, the new supercar came out, right? The new Ford GT came out, and they'll go buy one and just put it in their garage. They won't drive it. They'll just put it in the garage, and they'll keep it for whatever, 10 years and then sell it.
I don't know anybody like does that.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, that's just insane, right? But I know guys who have like, shipping containers full of brand new cars.
Yeah, we're talking hundreds of dollars a gun, maybe like a $200 gun, $100 gun, $70 gun.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. It's just in a different scale.
Yeah. Mr. Wright brings up a good point. I guess it was silly for J.M. Davis to buy all those guns.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
Yeah.
I guess really what it comes down to is I don't see a point in collecting guns just to put in the safe and let them collect dust. If other people find pleasure in that, that's for them.
That's you're suggesting what isn't real. You're saying that they can sit safe and collect dust. I have a lot of enjoyment just going in and look at those things once in a while. So they don't collect dust. They get used. I just don't bother taking them to the range. There's no point in having to clean all of them, and they're all exactly the same. So what's the point of shooting every single one of them? If I want to shoot one, shoot one. But and again, like you're saying, old stuff. You can be looking at those things every day if you have them up in where you can see them. Get enjoyment out of them constantly.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's
talking about an investment gun though that you're putting up literally in the safe. I do know people. You're talking about people that own cars. I know a guy who we had to install a third safe in his garage, and he had a bunch of motorcycles. I don't know nothing about motorcycles, but like they must have been expensive because they were old looking, like old World War II looking Harley, kind of old. And he had a bunch, and we delivered the one safe, and then I helped him deliver the third safe, I think. So then all of a sudden he had fewer, and he was converting his bikes into guns, and he was just buying them, putting them in the safes. And that was his investment. He liked the idea that he could put them into a safe in his garage and have way more use of space, or whatever you call it, like bang for the buck, really. Yeah. But that motorcycle money, which was just sitting there being a motorcycle, taking up a third of his garage, a chunk of garage, a half a parking space, and then put that same money into a few guns and put them in his thing. And I don't know if he ended up making money or not, but I do know people that do that. They'll never shoot that gun. It's literally going up as an investment. Never to be taken in the box until it gets old or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's basically like what those people do with cars, right? And I don't understand. Like I understand it, but I don't. For me, that would never be anything I'd want to do, even if I could afford to. It's just but if somebody's going to basically give me or almost give me free guns, or they were doing that with cars, I'd be collecting cars. But yeah, it's just, where do you put the stuff? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a collector type person, I guess.
Well, I don't want to force it on anybody either, because I'm not saying that I got a bunch of guns and everybody should. It is a bit of a burden. So, and yeah, if you're not a collector and you're not going to enjoy them, then yeah, there's no point at all. It's just throwing money into something that you're not digging and you're not going to make money off of.
Yep. And I think that's what it comes down to too, is it a good idea or a bad idea? Well, really it's neither, and it's both. It's what you're into. What you personally are into. If you like doing that, there's nothing wrong with it. If you don't like doing that, there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. Some people like to collect shit, other people don't.
All right. Well, so let's keep going. Just keep the show going. If anybody wants to keep talking about that, like we say, we have an email address. Give us some feedback. Let us know. dailygunshow@gmail.com. I guess we'll jump into the movie of the day. So we try to feature a gun-related movie every day. We've been having some help with people sending in suggestions via that email address. I forget who sent this one in, but it's called The Killer. Have you seen this movie? Bob? He's muted. I'll bring it up on the internet here.
No, I haven't seen that one, I don't think.
Oh, it's definitely worth it. Let me screen share here. Maybe if you see the title of the cover of it. I think this was VHS days, 1989. So,
oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was one of this dude's first movies, I think. And he was definitely like a professional, come in, take care of business, if I remember right. Very gung fu, but also kind of a new kind of movie. So I think it was Hong Kong style or something. But anyway, obviously people liked it, and this guy's done a lot of movies since.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now that you showed me that, yeah, it was just something that,
if I remember right, kind of amateurish as far as its effects. It is also 1989, so there was no CGI yet. It was all squibs or whatever they call real effects. So it's a little bit, it's good, but I don't know if it holds up. I haven't watched it in a long time. I'm sure it's a little cheesy compared to CGI.
I'm sure it is, but I bet you the martial arts stuff is really cool.
Yeah, it is a good one for that. And it's kind of like Wick, way before, in like 1989.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, that was the thing is the guys coming out of Hong Kong and that, they were so good at that physical, movie kung fu and everything, that when they transitioned and put guns into it, it was magic, eh? Like normal people couldn't do it, but
what were they comparing to? Like Chuck Norris and Van Damme back in '89. Maybe not even Chuck Norris anymore. Chuck Norris on TV, and then Van Damme and what's his face? Seagal, yeah. And they weren't really doing anything that jumping around anymore. They were getting old and big. So yeah, it was definitely a new thing to see. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm gonna give it only one thumb up though, only because if we give everything 2 thumbs up, then the best movies get watered down. So it's a really good one, and I would give it 2 if it was a bigger thing. But as far as the overalls, I'm gonna give it 1. It's probably one you should watch if you haven't seen it. It's worth having seen it.
Yeah, if you see it in your feed, or if you see it on Netflix or something like that, and you got a couple hours to burn, sure. So I'm going to go the same. G-Webs, I'm going to give it a one thumb up, just because I didn't even remember it until you showed me that was. So it wasn't one of those movies that stuck in your head as that was the greatest action adventure shoot 'em up I've ever seen. But yeah, once I saw the titles and that, it kind of starts the hard drive spinning again, and it was okay. It was, like I say, it was really neat to see that the early transition between straight martial arts to martial arts involving guns and stuff. So very much like that. And now it looks like we're going to the gun of the day. So I don't know whether you're muted, G-Webs. You must be.
Oh yeah.
So we're the gun of the day. We're doing the LCR today.
Yeah, this is the one I carry in 357, but there's a lot of them now. I guess there's 38, 357, 9mm. That's not right. 22 Magnum, 22 maybe, and maybe
22 Magnum.
That's on Wikipedia to tell us.
It is an interesting little gun. I actually quite enjoyed shooting yours.
So it looks like 22 Magnum, 38, 357, 9mm, or 327.
Ooh. Yeah, so that's good. It's a nice gun to shoot. It's got a for double action only. It's got a decent trigger, and 357 is a good stout cartridge. It's pretty famous for its takedown power and stuff. So, for a pocket revolver, yeah, modern version of them, I quite like it.
First time I saw him was at the SHOT Show Media Day in 2009 in Tampa, and I looked at, or maybe it was Orlando. It was in Florida, I forget where. So I seen it at the range, and that big gap in the cylinder, like this picture here shows, that big giant gap in the 38 cylinder. Mm-hmm. And I looked at that thing and I went, that is horribly ugly. I'm not even going to shoot it. And I walked away and I didn't even shoot it. It was a huge line. That's the year it came out, I think. And it was a huge line for it. And I was not interested in shooting it. So I just ignored it. Didn't look at it at the show at all. So I never went up and dry fired it, in other words. And then it only came out in 38 at first. And I think it was around for a couple of years before I decided, oh, that thing's ugly. I'm going to shoot it. Or somebody said something about how good it was. And I'm like, all right, I'll go shoot it. And then I bought one. Like, they're the best shooting double action trigger out there. They're comfortable. They shoot well, but the double action trigger on a normal double action revolver, you'd have to pay money to get it to, to feel like that. And these ones out of the box that good. There's not hardly any stage. Yeah, they're just really good to shoot. So I ditched the J frames and went to it. Plus, I kind of like the Ruger button. I really liked how you just push that button and it drops the cylinder out, as opposed to having to push or pull like the other brand.
Yep.
And it never, I shouldn't say never, I don't think I can remember under normal circumstances ever having the button get pushed. I have had the button get pushed and the cylinder come out a little bit, but that's me screwing around or doing something really weird, like laying down, just laying on it or something weird. Like normally, under normal conditions, that button never just gets pushed. Anyway, so I got a great gun. That's a great gun of the day. Now they're making color grips and a couple other options for it, but just the plain old out of the box 357, can't beat it. I don't know. I don't know if I get that laser. It looks so stupid. I feel bad if I had to ever have somebody like to look at my laser. It looks so stupid. What if you put this stupid grip on it and that stupid laser? Then it would be like a bat wing or something. I wonder if anybody's done that.
I don't think so, but you know.
Would you put this grip on a gun and shoot it?
No. That looks goofy.
If you had like carpal tunnel or you were a dolphin, then I would, but not regular. I would not see that being good.
Yeah. Yeah, once we start arming the dolphins to defend them against the Japanese fishermen, then yeah.
If you have a flipper, you needed to hold it with a flipper or a wing.
Oh, I'll bet you Flippy's got one.
You know, I would be worried about this now that I'm thinking about it. That you could put that under your wing and then use your other wing tip to pull the trigger. Now you're basically arming the birds with this.
We all know birds came from dinosaurs, so that's dangerous. They're already dangerous.
Yeah, they're angry. So that's nothing but bad news.
Yeah, it seems like bad news.
Right. So, are you still giving away patches for winning the daily pop quiz? No, we stopped doing that a while back. However, we also had no interest at all in the, I shouldn't say, very little interest in the tactical quiz, which we put the pop quiz on hiatus for. So we'll probably try to go back to something. However, we have to figure out how to figure that out because I'm going to be driving, and since I was doing most of the sending of that stuff, I figured that out. I guess I could try to do that. So we'll see. Oh, and then Tony said something earlier about I decided to not go whatever east of the Mississippi. Now, as much as I don't like going east of the Mississippi because it's so crowded over there, I actually changed the route. Well, we're going to do a van chat after this, but I have changed the route. I think I mentioned the Red Dawn anniversary is in the middle of my last route, where I was going to go from Dallas to Tulsa to eventually Wyoming and then south. Instead, I'm not going to go all the way up to Wyoming. I think I'll go to Colorado Springs still and then drop south because that'll put me right on top of where the Red Dawn was filmed, and then that'll be right on that anniversary. That'll get me back to Tucson just a few days later, and because of some other things that are going on, I will then be heading on the second leg of the tour. You know, so assuming everything goes according to plan, the second leg of the tour will go out to the castle in New York, and obviously on the way back I'll be coming through everywhere. So I abbreviated this first leg so that I can get out on the second leg now that there is a van, and you know, we know there's actually a plan to be made. So we're going to actually do a van chat after this. So I guess that's a good transition into Gun Channels tonight. It is Friday, so after this show, stay tuned to Clover Tack. He wanted me to let everyone know that he's going to reveal a special treat to his visitors or to his viewers tonight on his Firearms Friday show. So that is according to the schedule. Where did I put the schedule? Up at 2 hours after this show ends. So whatever time it is now, 2 hours from now, Clover Tack will be starting, and an hour after that, Edge of the Week comes on from Edge down in San Antonio. Then tomorrow will be Saturday. Pretty sure Travis is doing a Caliber Corner. Heard him talking about it earlier in the week. Then if Rick is back from what he was doing, we might see Rick's Life as I See It, probably updating us on whatever he saw as he was living his life last week and not doing the show. And that'll bring us to Sunday. Whenever enough ammo does a show in the mornings, Yoder, Texas will usually post the Come and Talk It, a syndicated radio show out of Texas, which is pretty decent and worth listening to. And then Yankee sometimes does a like Q&A type of thing where he chats with his viewers one-on-one and intimately, face-to-face. And then on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, stay tuned for Early Watch. Jimmy James has a long format show for 6 to 8 hours. Can you imagine that? Every single day, these guys get together for 6 to 8 hours running a fairly formatted show with a bit of open space for people to just kind of shoot the shit. But doing an excellent job. I really appreciate all the effort they're putting in. Jimmy James does them on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Sean has been doing the Good Morning Gun channels on Tuesdays and Thursdays, same time slot, and they're usually all three in there anyway. And then, of course, they both co-host with Tony out of Illinois. So those three guys are creating something that is unique on the internet. They're interactive gun conversation on every weekday. So look forward to that every single weekday. Or if you, I don't know, do some sort of a thing where you're driving or where you're working with headphones on and you listen to podcasts, that's 6 hours of content 5 days a week. So that's 30 hours of content right there. You know, that's a lot of stuff, and they're doing that for nothing. So listen to that show. We'll be back here on Monday at 7 p.m. for more of the same of this show. Hopefully with Dano again. He'll be able to tell us what it was like on his adventure this weekend. I think the last... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, oh, yes, Dano will have an adventure to tell us about.
Actually, after I said that, I thought he actually might be taking longer because he is going adventuring. So I don't know if he'll be available and jumping in or not, but we'll look forward to finding out. And I was going to say with that, we might as well do the gun shop of the day. So big part of this show, and Bob and I started it about 355 episodes ago. So you take 355 and you add, I know you'd have to divide that by 5, and that would tell you how many weeks. And that would be how long ago Bob and I started doing this, but it's been a while. And one of the reasons was because we were checking out gun shops every day, and we thought it'd be cool to create a show where we did that. And we're going to continue to do that, although it'll get better here in a minute as soon as we're actually out looking at new ones. But digging into the archives, Atlantic Guns is one of the shops we visited on the tour in 2012, and it's out in Maryland. I think I'm thinking of the right shop. And we didn't spend a lot of time there. Haas and I were driving around. We wanted to check out the Marine Small Arms Museum. For some reason I can't think of the name. And the Army one, is Aberdeen? No, I can't remember the names of them. But anyway, the president at the time, Obama, decided that the best way to save money would be to shut down all the military museums. So we couldn't go to any of the small arms museums, but the Annapolis Museum, where the Navy does something, allegedly had some guns in it. So we went to, and Haas is a Marine, so that's basically the Navy. So we went to see the Navy Museum, which was kind of from where we were staying by DC, kind of across east in Maryland. So along the way up there and then along the way back, we checked out some shops. And this was just one that we found on Google or something. And it's an interesting little shop. If I'm thinking of the right one, it's just a storefront, 1,000 square feet, kind of in a square. And, you know, the glass storefront on the one wall, and then their slat wall all the way around, probably a little office in back, but a real friendly shop, very full, like full to the gills. And again, if I'm thinking of the right one, they also had quite a bit of interesting ammo boxes. I don't know why. Maybe it was just the owner's thing to collect ammo boxes, but all different kinds of assortment of different calibers and countries and eras. So I don't know, maybe they deal in a lot of ammo, so they have the boxes, or like I say, maybe the guy just buys those interesting boxes. But I think they were all for sale. So I thought that was kind of unique. Also had a ton of milsurp rifles, so that's probably why they have so many odd boxes. If they were into milsurp CNR stuff, then possibly they just buy a lot of that bulk weird ammo. Anyway, made for a very interesting shop, one you could put your hands all over the milsurp stuff in the middle and Google all the stuff on the walls. And for being in Maryland, it had a pretty good selection of guns. It was everything from AKs with what seemed to me be all the accessories. This was back in 2012. To ARs and other things. Like they had a what is those company that takes a Glock lower and turns it into a carbine? They had one of those on the wall.
Oh yeah,
you don't see that very often. Anyway, shop, and we had some issues with the website, so there's no pictures. The goal, though, is to get everything back running like smooth, and they'll be in these segments of the show. We'll be showing you pictures of the shop, and eventually we'll try to get things like interviews occasionally, talk about when the shops were built and what it's like running a gun shop in whatever part of the world we're in. So hopefully people are enjoying that. Please do give us feedback. I'm about to spend a heck of a lot of money to go out there and look at these shops. It would be nice to know what people are thinking. Give me your honest opinion. If it's a waste of time, I'd like to know. So, I'll just go enjoy the trip instead of trying to waste a bunch of time filming it all. So, looking forward to some feedback on that. We will continue with a new gun shop every day. Next week, it looks like I don't know, we don't have any themes next week either. So we'll just kind of randomly hit them here until we're back on track, showing brand new ones each day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
All right, with that, I don't know if we got anything else. So I think we can, oh, you know what I'm going to click is the gun history, just in case there's some interesting gun history today. Somebody said something about it being Bastille Day. Is that a thing?
Yeah. I don't know much about it, but yeah, it's a thing.
I mean, I've heard of it before, but I don't know if it's our thing. I don't think it's ours. Oh, today in 1938, Howard Hughes and a crew set a new world record for an around-the-world flight. That's kind of vague, but interesting.
Yeah, well, Howard Hughes set a lot of aviation records. He was quite the pilot in his day.
Today in 1964, the U.S. sent 600 more. What? That's dumb. 600 more troops. I thought it said the first 600 troops. So,
got a question coming in from YouTube. Ira Huff is asking, a good shop to check out in Phoenix. He's new in Phoenix, I guess.
There's a lot of shops in Phoenix, so give us some direction. Like, what kind of shop are you looking for? Anything specific? And then what part of Phoenix? There's, I don't know. At least give us like northwest, southwest, southeast kind of thing. Yeah. I haven't every shop in Phoenix, but I've definitely been to a bunch. Whenever I go up there, except for yesterday, I try to give myself a little time to eat at a vegan restaurant and then check out a new gun shop.
Yeah, and if I'm there, I'm looking for a good place that serves bacon and eggs.
One day I'll get Bob into vegan places, then he won't shut up about it. He'll be like, I can't believe that.
No, not going to happen. Man is not meant to eat veggies alone.
So do they give us any, let me look over here. What is a good shop?
Just check here again to see if I got anything else.
Just in general, the shops to check out would be, of course, the Scottsdale Gun Club, just because everybody hears about it, and then you can see what it is and how small it is, and then get over it. And it's worth seeing, though. Of course, Bass Pro and Cabela's are interesting. Bass Pro's better because of the giant fish and the giant fish tanks. And then Shooter's World over on 17 is awesome. I don't get any affiliation with them, but I've done some things in the past, like classes and stuff there, and shot there before. And for whatever reason, I end up going up 17 a lot. I guess going to Vegas, you go up 17. So we're always over there. I know people that have family in that area, so we're in that area quite often as far as when we go to Phoenix, and I end up stopping there quite a bit. And they have a lot of selection. It's fairly large, called Shooter's World. I don't know enough of the shops, at least I haven't visited too many that are just cool shops to hang out in. So I would say there's one in Apache Junction, which is really far west, over where Jimmy lives, called AJI. And that's one of those shops where it's kind of stuff all over the walls and in the cabinets and on the shelves and overflowing. There's just stuff everywhere, and you can dig around, and that's kind of a neat shop. I wish I knew more of those in Phoenix. Most of them are kind of sterile and clean, and they're all in competition with each other really hard, so not too many. There is one that was kind of north off of 17 to the east of 17 that I can't remember the name of, but I wouldn't give it to you if I could, because they were pricks. They had like a cool website, an interesting website, I should say, and then all the reviews online where these guys are either jerks or they love you, and I guess they didn't love me because they were kind of dicks when I went in there. That happens very rarely, but they did have a neat shop, a lot of milsurp. Too bad they basically ran people out. That's half the time when it's not half the time. Occasionally, when a shop does have really cool stuff, it's because they're dicks. They run everybody out and nobody buys anything. So they just accumulate it. It's like their collection. That's the way to look at it.
Yeah, I like those shops. I like the ones you go in and the people are like, "Hey, how you doing? What can I do for you?" You know?
We had this one guy in Tucson. I've talked about it before, and he would run you out. Like if he didn't want to do business with you, and if you weren't if you didn't rub him the right way immediately, he would just scowl at you. And I've seen him literally tell people to leave. Like, nope, get out. He told me to get out when I was a young kid when I first got here. He had a whole bunch of switchblades, dozens of them in the cabinet. And I go, oh, are these legal here? Get out. That was my first experience with that guy.
I remember that guy. He was nice when I went in there.
No one has ever said that about that guy. And if you're in Tucson, you know exactly who I'm talking about. I don't know how he stayed in business. All right, so let's see. We don't do that on Friday. That's Dano's thing. Been to the Scottsdale Gun Club. It was tiny. We'll have to check out Shooter's World. I'm at the 17 and 101. So, oh, okay. Yeah, Shooter's World is right over there, I think. Those are two highways. Phoenix is basically a highway going north and south, a highway going east and west, kind of. It really just goes east-west. And then, like a bullseye. It has like a loop that kind of goes all the way around except where the mountains are. And then it got so big they had to put a second loop in. So it kind of looks like a bullseye that somebody cut a pie shape out of where the mountains are. Or a pie slice out of.
Yeah, I didn't like driving in Phoenix. I got lost.
Yeah, it probably would be like that. It's annoying. And it's not, for whatever reason, it's not as square as Tucson. Tucson's very square and grid pattern. Phoenix is a little weirder. All right, well, so that brings us to the end of the show. On Monday, we'll be talking about social media. We always do that on Mondays. The most useful YouTube video you've watched. And we'll talk about events and all the normal stuff we talk about on a daily basis. Next week, we'll be talking about the movies The Professional, La Femme Nikita, Charlie Varrick, I don't know what that is, Charlie Varrick, No Escape, and Teflon, or Telephone with Charles Bronson. I think I've seen that. So that's the movies if you want to watch those. If you're looking for something to look at over the weekend, but you don't need to. You got all those shows on Gun Channels. If you're interested in creating something, the channel, some kind of content, feel free to jump over to Gun Channels. Lots of people over there that are able to, show you some tips and tricks and give you some encouragement. I think with that, we will see you all on Monday. Okay,
well, I think we're pretty much wrapped up here. So we like to end our show on a quote. Today's quote is by Daniel Schmutter. That's as close as I'll get, I'm sure. But before that, I just want to remind everybody to please like, share, and subscribe. Give us our thumbs ups. And let's go with a quote. Daniel Schmutter. Okay. The tragic history of civilian disarmament cries a warning against any systematic attempts to render innocent civilians ill-equipped to defend themselves from tyrants, terrorists, despots, and oppressive majorities. That's a good one. I want to thank everybody for watching and listening, and I guess we'll see you all Monday.
Or at about 20 minutes, not even in like 10 minutes for a van chat.
Right, okay. Well, we're going to have the van chat, yeah. I guess, yeah, they'll see me in the van chat, but they won't see me on the gun show until Monday.
Guys and gals at manwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.
Just the two of us, we can make it if we try.